G'day and welcome to Brak's 1000 points of walkers. So you may remember I did a list similar last week or a while back with 500 points of walkers. Now this one is about 1000 points and it's coming up pretty soon. Okay, before we get stuck into these lists, I thought I'd better explain a few things. Firstly, although I don't mind a competitive game, my lists generally are not what you would call tournament busting. I tend to gravitate towards themes, and as such the lists have more of a fluffier aspect to them. Secondly, I like to build my lists around a unit or type of units, hence the walkers, and I find it easier to have a core unit and then build around it. I don't do well on a blank slate. I get writer's block, so to speak. Also, when making these lists, I tend to build on smaller previously built lists, which is why most of the lists you're going to see today have been built around the 500 point lists I showcased previously. Most of the lists I have made are with the combat patrol detachment in mind. Yeah, sure, you can get a battalion stuck in with about 1,000 points, but you've got to spend 3 command points and you'll get them back, which sort of means that you've got less to spend in buffing up your units. But the video might explain that a little bit better than what I'm doing. And walkers are points heavy, so to get the most bang out of your buck with the list, I thought that combat patrol sort of works. Although there will be the odd other type of detachments to sort of explain my thinking. 100 points, you play incursion games, so you're allowed 2 detachments. You won't see any 2 detachment lists here. These are single detachments, and you only get 6 command points to play with. And remember, you've got to spend some for your detachments, but you don't get them back until you started the game. So you really that limits it, and if you want to buff, so that's the payoff. You've got to either spend all your CP and buff your units and not have a lot to play with on the game, or you don't do it at all. But that's up to you, I suppose. Anyway, enough chatter. Let's have a look at these lists. Okay, just to recap what the old 500 list looked like, and there is the Morkalicious, the Warboss, in this case Brak, and 16 Gretchen. That's 500 points on the nose. So, what will this list look like when I add 500 more? Okay, and this is 1,000 points on the nose. So let's have a quick look at the HQs. I've got the Warboss again, and I've put in a Wierdboy. And then there's not HQ, but the Pain Boy to basically protect and fix both the HQs. Now, I like to put a Pain Boy with a Warboss. It just makes him a little bit stronger, and you can also repair him, which is a good thing. And if you have a Wierdboy, also having a Pain Boy close by as well will actually make him last a little bit longer, especially if he just tries to blow his head off whilst casting one of those psychic powers. Now this is going to be the cheeky Zogger specialist group, clan, whatever you want to call it, and I've got 33 Gretchen there. Now, yes, 30 is all you can max in one unit, but you can, with 33 or any more than 30, you have the opportunity to split it up to how you like. Now, you could go for 3 lots of 11, or what I would do is have a unit of 20 and then a unit of 13. Now, that's just so that gives me one of those units to get that extra attack with surprisingly good in large numbers. That special rule that Gretchen have. I wouldn't go 3 lots of 11 because that would turn this from a combat patrol through to a battalion detachment, and I can't see any benefits for doing so, especially when you've got the numbers to make up a combat patrol. And of course, HQ, we've got the Morkanaut. Now that could be swapped around for a Gorkanaut, and I'd probably do the same thing. I'd give them sparkly bits, and I would definitely, and yeah, I'd give him sparkly bits to make them shoot. Now, better do that for either Gorkanaut or Morkanaut. I just favour the Morkanaut, that's just my personal preference. But you may have to, when you're swapping around the two, you might have to play around with the numbers of the grots a bit. Just to, I think the prices are, the costs are slightly different. And last but not least, the big adding is the cans. Now, I've made these rocket cans because, as you're probably well aware, I rate them. Now, they could be any cans, and once again, if you've got points cost, you can just whack a couple of, depending on which way you go, you can whack a couple of grots out or put a extra few grots in, and the choice is yours. So a nice versatile grot army here, which could do well. I won't know. I'll have to test it one day. And here was the 500 list. So that's a Warboss, Morkalicious, and 10 boys, and the knob just being a bare bones chopper and slugger knob there. And as I said last time, I think this was a better version than the previous, but now after thinking about it, I'm not so sure. But I did make this in mind that there was going to be another 500 points added to it. So let's have a little look at what I've done. Okay, so yeah, look, I've added trucks to boys for this list. I think that in 9 trucks makes sense. If you want to go small boys, keeps them safe a little longer, and you've also got a bit of mobility, and you don't have to worry about having a Wierdboy to get those boys jumping up. So that's what I think in theory. I haven't actually played a game of 9 just yet, so this is all just me having a think about things. So there's 2 boys in trucks, then there's the Morkalicious, and we've got the Death Killer Wartrike and a Warboss and a Pain Boy there. But I've also put in this guy, a mech. Now, I like to use mechs in trucks. I find that custom Mega Slugger being fired outside of a open top is loads and loads of fun. It's yeah, I rate them well in a truck list. I like to have all my trucks with a mech inside, and of course, you know, you can always take it out and fix it if need be. That's just a little side added bonus. What would I do with this? I think sparkly bits for Morkanaut or Morkalicious is still a given. Would definitely make the Warboss the biggest boss, so he's got that 4-up save, and then a little bit of extra protection with the shrug from the Pain Boy. So that would be nice. That's a 4-up invulnerable save. And then I'm not quite sure. Obviously get to kill a Klaw. Death Killer Wartrike, I'm not quite sure about that. I might have to look in to see what sort of stuff I can give him, especially in regards to custom jobs. Probably do the upgrade and make an extra. Probably see if I can get some extra shiny Gubbins. You know, we could make the Pain Boy, give him a Cyborg body, give him a little bit extra shrug, or maybe give him to kill a Klaw and make the Warboss a Cyborg body. Who knows? Maybe the mech, give him a Cyborg body. They're characters, they can get that sort of stuff. There is a few things that you can do. Detachments, I think. Sorry, clans, I would definitely. Evil Sons, this has got legs, or maybe perhaps wheels. Nice and fast, could benefit there. Especially if you were to not give the Morkanaut sparkly bits, but gave him Orkmatic Pistons, make him nice and fast. Otherwise, Bad Moons or Death Skulls. Now I personally would go Death Skulls because I love all those rerolls, especially when we've got those damage rerolls you can get with this little fella and these little weapons on here, the custom mega cannons and zappers, and yeah, try and take a use of that. I think that Death Skulls favour small units with big power or big firepower potential. And there he is. What do you think? I actually like this. I wouldn't mind giving this one a go. And here's a slight variation to that list. So what I've done here is I've whacked out the boys in a truck and put in 2 Death Dreads. So we've got the one with the Rokkit and the one with the cans. Now, this is just a little bit of fun. It actually probably quite scary. Once again, I think Evil Sons or Death Skulls for this one, although Bad Moons, I'm really unsure about the others, but yeah, look, I've never played the other clans, so I can't really say. But I think I'm rating the Evil Sons, the Bad Moons, but Death Skulls definitely my top choice for this, but I am slightly biased in this regard. Similar things, you may want to give either. Give one unit Sparkly Bits and the other unit Orkymatic Pistons. So the Morkanaut would get one and the 2 Dreads get the other. Same loadout for the Warboss. And yeah, and a slight variation, which would be fun to play on the field, especially if you like me and love walkers. This is definitely a walker list, not just boy list with walkers in it. And now we segue into the Dred lists, and this was the 500 point list that I had with the Death Dreads. So we've got the big mech with the force field, 3 Death Dreads, so we've got the Rockets, the Custom Mega Blasters, and the Scorchers, and 10 boys. So yeah, but let's have some fun and add 500 more. Well, this has got to be the first Horde list that I've done for written for a little while. So what we have here is 20 shooter boys, 20 slugger boys. I'd just like to have it. You can have sluggers or shooters. It depends on your preference. 3 of the Death Dreads. So again, and we have 1, 2, 3 Deathcopters, just for fun. They can help scoot up the board and get objectives and things like that. And I've made the HQ here, the Warboss and the Wierdboy. Although I'm going to put this guy in. There's another option, but you'd have to take one of those out. Now, it's really going to come down to whether you want the extra attack support that the Warboss gives you, or the jumping capabilities that a Psychic gives you, plus the other little Psychic things you can do. I definitely turned the Psychic into a headbanger. Or you want the safety net that the custom Mega Force Field is. You're going to have to weigh that up option for yourself. I probably would take him out, but it's up to you, only because I like my Warboss. I'd still keep the Pain Boy in there. I think the Pain Boy custom Force Field is a great safety combo, give the extra security. Now I've split the Deathcopters up into 2 and 1. You can have whatever combinations. I think it really matters. Now remember, this is a... Oh, sorry, my brain just went on me once more. Oh, yes, this is a combat patrol, believe it or not. And oh, lovely combat. Look, a Horde combat patrol. That's lovely. So you'd have to have 2 fast attack slots, or only 1, maybe 3 in one is good. I don't know. I haven't played with them for a while. I want to get back and playing with Deathcopters because I love them. The Rockets, they're fantastic. This could be a good Evil Sons list. Could also be a good Goth list. I think this has merits for Goths. A wonderful thing. Now what you could do with the Death Dreads is you could split them up. So I have the 2 blue split from the yellow. So we've got the Rockets and the Custom Mega Blaster Dreads. I would put them aside, not aside, I would give them Sparkly Bits. I seem to love my Sparky Bits. And I would probably give the Scorhca the one that makes him a little bit tougher. The name is going to come up across that list any minute there. And I would put him in reserve. So you can drop him down and put some mayhem. Having a Scorhca in behind the enemy's lines especially when you got these little flying around buggers as well. That's just gonna make your opponent scratch his head a bit. Yeah, look, another list which I think has got merit and could be fun. I wouldn't worry about the big firepower, protecting your boys. If you use the terrain to your advantage, and also that's what the jumping and the KFF can do. If you're worried about that, you might want to get rid of the Warboss, but I love me Warboss. I rate him. I think that now, while the mech with the shock attack gun has been nerfed a little bit, the good old Warboss or Brak there will be an auto-clued in my list. But you may think otherwise, and that's entirely your choice. And here we have the 500 Grot can wall list here, and yeah, so there was, just a recap, there was the big mech with the custom force field, 29 Gretchen, and 5 rocket cans. Let's see this grow. Now this is a lot of grots. There's 70 models here, and yes, it's definitely part of the Gretchen can wall. So I've got 4 lots of toucans up the back there. So we've got rockets in this corner, and we've got scorchers over here. Now we could give the rocket sparkly bits and the scorchers Orkymatic Pistons. I would probably put the cans, the scorchers. Yeah, I just put the scorchers in reserve. Let them come on behind lines up close and do some barbecuing. That's probably how I do it. Now I've got 58 Gretchen there. I've actually had to throw in some Gretchen gunners because I don't really have all them painted up or modelled at the moment. But that's neither here nor there. Now you could have 2 lots. You could have a lot of 30, lot of 28. You can split them up into 3. And yeah, there's a lot of bodies here. Whether it works or not at 1,000 points, oof, I don't know. I don't think so. But this, if you are thinking about a grot army, well then this is something that you could play around with. You got the cans. You could probably play around. Maybe add some mech guns. I'm not putting mech guns in this list because I'm trying to concentrate on walkers here, as is part of this series. So I'll probably do mech guns another time. So HQ, I've got the big mech with a custom force field and a Wierdboy. Now I've put in the Pain Boy just for that little bit of extra survivability, and over here is a mech. Now he can help fix everything. This would take this as the cheeky Zogger detachment, so you can get the rerolls from the cans, rerolls of 1s on the cans with the targeting vehicles, and most of that army will have a 6-up invulnerable save, which is why I've put the why I'm going to put in the big mech with the custom force field to give a little bit more protection. I would probably cluster the two HQs and the 2 elite spots there. And also, this is a combat patrol. You could play around and split things up, but let's make it a battalion. But I don't think I'll bother, which is a bit of a theme. So there is the Grot army. What do you think of that? Okay, and here was the 500 point Boomer Boy list, and it was 3 rocket cans, 1 rocket Dred, a squad of 10 boys with a rocket launcher, and a Warboss with a combi rocket shooter. Now, can we make these guys boom? Let's give them more rockets. So many rockets in this one. So many rockets. It's a joy to behold. And so what we have, so every unit bar 1 does not benefit from the Boomer rule, which now the Boomer rule gives rockets and stick bombs +1 strength and +1 AP. So you can imagine having a stick bomb that's strength 4, neg 1. That'd be great, wouldn't it? But why you'd really have this is that we now have all these rockets, and there is quite a few that have strength 9 and AP 3, so neg 3, which is fantastic stuff. So what do we got? We have the Warboss and his combi rocket. We have the Pain Boy, so he's just there to give good old Brak. Doc Grot's there to give good old Brak a some support, bit of protection, and fix him up. And we have 3 rockets. We have 3 rocket deathcopters, so that's 4 rockets so far. And then we have over here 4 rocket cans, which brings the total up to 8. Then the Dred, which brings the total up to 9. So rockets there, and unit of 10 boys with ones with a rocket launcher, so that's 10 rockets so far, plus over here the piece de resistance, maybe? Yeah. 9 tank busters. So that's 19 rockets. That's a lot of bang for your buck. And of course they're going in the trucks, which I do put the stick bomb flicker on. So wonderful, wonderful stuff. So of course the tank busters will have they'll have tank buster bombs, and there's a tank buster bomb in the boys as well. Same thing, sparkly bits for the Dred, and probably Orkymatic Pistons for the cans, make them go faster. Or no, yeah, probably. We'll have a look. There's so many great ones to choose from, and yeah, similar sort of fit outs on the Warboss. So that's it. I really like this. I would love to play this. I reckon this would be fun. Or would I just go with make them Death Skulls? I still might do that. Which is going to be better, the extra strength rockets, which we need, or having objective secured infantry and those re-rolls and 6-up invo saves on everything? I'd probably play it safe and go Death Skulls. You could do a Bad Moons here. I think Evil Sons, maybe. Freebooters could be good if you get that. If you can get some kills off quickly, that might be an idea. But it's going to be a hard one. It has a lot of bang, this one. So yeah, but nah. Death Skulls or Boomer Boys for me, I think. What do you think? What would you do with it? Okay, now this one's a little bit different. I just thought that because I was doing how to incorporate walkers into your list type series, that I would try and see how many walkers I could fit in to a legal army at the 1,000 point level. So this is a battalion. I made the battalion because we've got 3 heavy support units up the back, and there's 30 grots there, so you can, that's 3 lots of 10 Gretchen. And decided to give the old mech with the mega armor. He's a bit of a favourite of mine, so he might be fun. And I put another mech just to add in for points. Unfortunately, the Pain Boy wouldn't fit unless I started taking grots out, but then that wouldn't make it a battalion detachment. And just ignore the cat scratching in the background. Okay, so we've got 3 cans, Death Dred, and Morkalicious. Hang on, I didn't really forget. Oh, there you go. I forgot to add in something, didn't I? Oh, it's been a late day. I've been filming these all day, and my brain is sort of gone. So there's a Death Dred with the K&B. So that's now 1,000. So it's pretty deadly, real deadly. So of course, Sparkly Bix on Morkalicious. I would probably give the. Now I should remember. You'd think that I would remember the name of the. It'll come across the protective one, and what the heck. Give the Orkmatic Pistons to the Death Dred, and that's it. Now, can we go? How crazy can we go? Now, like, I do want to put the battalion in, because even though you spend 3 CP, you do get CP back. But what if we weren't scared to buy the CP? Let's have a little look. So this is the last list, and it's a spearhead detachment. So we're spending 2 command points, but we won't be getting them back. So that's 8 there. So you got down to 6. Now I like to spend as many command points as I can, buff up my units, and sort of play with what I've got on the day. So if there's any extras, there's extras. that's just the way I like to do it. You may not agree, you may want to conserve your command points, but yeah, look, this would be fun. This would be loads and loads of fun. It's 5 cans, 2 Dreads, a Morkanaut. Now remember, we can swap out the Morkanaut for the Gorkanaut, and you can fit out these Dreads how you like, and this will give you more play around with the points. I wouldn't go strictly with what I do, and same with the cans. You might like shooters, and they might be better for you than rockets. I just prefer rockets, so that's why they're in the list. And we've got the mechs. I just thought, make it fluffy, because there's a whole lot of walkers. They need to be fixed, so we've got the mech in the good old mega armor there, followed by the big mech, of course, followed by 2 smaller mechs with and they're fitted out with the custom mega slugger. And I will be making this Death Skulls because of the reroll, especially for damage. Those, as I've said before, the custom mega weapons can be very damaging if you roll right, and the Death Skulls lets just roll right. Well, at least again, the law of averages means it's if you re-roll, and this should be better, but you never know, do you? It is a dice game after all. Okay, well, that's it. This would be fun. This is very similar to something that I played in the end of 7 and early 8. I had this is something very similar to something I played when I was in early 8 at some competitions at 1,000 point. Few more, because these 1,000 points have less models because the units cost more. Okay, so that's it. What do you think? Well, there you have it. 8 very different 1,000 point lists dedicated to the wonder and merriment that is walking vehicles. So, what do you think? Which is your favourite list? What would have you done differently? Now, you may have noticed that in some of the lists I spent more command points than what I could possibly use. The reason for this was to show you the possibilities. Allocating command points is just like most aspects of building lists. Unfortunately, you can't take all the things. So you have to make decisions over which stratagem or custom job is best for your army. And only you can know the answer to that one. Now, it's time for me to go. So remember, if you are going crumpin', you gotta bash early and bash often. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can show your appreciation by liking, sharing and subscribing. Also, please don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can catch all my latest videos. Due to global Nurgle related circumstances, I am currently making videos full time. I would really appreciate it if you could show your support by becoming a Patreon member. For as little as $3 American. You can help me with hobby and filming equipment. If you feel you can't commit long term, then you can always buy me a coffee. The links will be below in the description.